What's happening here? Is this working yet? No, it's not. Right. Hi, folks. You're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this radio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about how the government, and this is pretty much standard across the Western world, it's incredible just how sort of standardized across the Western world this is, but how the government pursues alleged biological fathers, I won't use the term father, biological contributors to conception, how they pursue the males for this, and the methods used, but the remarkable outcomes that seem to come from it. Now, it used to be that the woman's allegation that the guy was the Billy Bob down the road, or Billy Bob from so and so was the guy that she had that one night stand with, and then she arbitrarily decided to keep the child, or maybe he paid for the abortion and she took the money but then decided to keep the child and not tell him, or something like that. But they used to go after Billy Bob purely on the basis of her allegation. I mean, she'd signed like a legal statement under threat of perjury, but perjury was, I don't think it was ever enacted. If they were wrong, it was fine. And let's try someone else. But more recently, DNA testing has come in, and the government controls this. They don't permit, or certainly in the jurisdictions I've looked at, they don't permit private testing. And if that private testing does take place, it has no legal weight in the determination of things like child support, alimony, and so on. So what certainly I've been noticing recently is, not that this is new necessarily, but that DNA testing is a part of it, is new. That the government testing of the DNA of the alleged biological contributor to the child from a one-night stand is invariably, or nearly all the time, if there's one guy in the group that she alleges, well, it could be Billy Bob, but it could be Jimmy Jack, or something, and gives them 5 names. It's incredible how often the guy with the steady job, the above average income, who owns the house, and that's it. It's incredible how often he is decided, how the DNA test is, well, it's him. That seems astonishing to me, how often that happens. I mean, why isn't it before illiterate itinerant labourers that have no income to speak of and are unemployed for 6 months of the year and so on? Why aren't they the ones that get picked? But it's rare. Now, some men are saying, well, it couldn't have been me because, given the time of birth, and that the birth wasn't a premature one and that sort of thing, it couldn't have been me because I was in the North Pole or something at that time. So they try and have another DNA test because they're completely confident it's not them. So, but this isn't allowed. This is only allowed if she agrees. So if she agrees to the DNA test and the court agrees, so there's a lot of obstacles that are purposefully put in the way. Now, if there was no problem with the first DNA test, then and it was accepted as being accurate, why would anyone have a problem with another DNA test? Because it's going to produce the same outcome, obviously, because the first one was completely above board, so the second one would produce the same outcome. So what's the big deal? The guy has to pay for it out of his own pocket, so who cares? But no, for some reason there's a lot of obstacles put in the way of the guy who's trying to verify the government's DNA test. Now, if you sort of look at the overall architecture, legal aid lawyer will be assigned to it, and they'll say to the woman, look, if this DNA test is done and it comes back that he's not the guy, then all of the other guys are penniless. They haven't got jack shit. You're not going to get a penny out of them. He's the only one that's got a good job, or he's got a steady job and owns the house and that sort of thing. So he doesn't pay. We can take his house and take the money out of that. So we've got him. We've actually got him. So if he gets away, then you're not going to get anything. And you're getting thousands of dollars a month out of him now, but you won't see a penny if he gets away. So we're not telling you what to do, Billie Jean. We're not telling you what to do. Well, we're just saying that's how the situation is. But if you say no to him, that he can't do that DNA test, if you say no, then he can't do it. And the courts will back you up on this. All you have to do is tell me no. That's all you have to do. And then he can't do the DNA test. And this river of money that flows into your pocket every month will continue. No, you've said no. That's it. I'll tell the judge, and that's the end of it. Now, Billy Bob can still contest it. He has to take it to court, like he has to take her to court as almost a civil matter. And get the court to rule that she has to allow the DNA test. A lot more time, a lot more money. When men are trying to bring these court cases up, they're on a very long waiting list. If on the reverse, she wants to take him to court to get more money, bang, she's in court in days. If he wants to oppose it, it's a waiting list of 2, sometimes 3 years. In the meantime, he has to pay. So there's a lot of obstacles put in the way of men. And by the way, if they win, and many of them do, in the end, after a number of years, assuming they've got the financial resources to fight it that long. But if he wins in the end, then he can't get any of that money back. That's it. The money's gone, lost, finished. He's just allowed, his future is a lot brighter because he doesn't have to pay the money. But that's it. She's got away with the whole thing with government connivance. Now, if all the men that are nominated are all penniless labourers and that sort of thing, retarded, intellectually challenged labourers or something, then they'll pick one of those, maybe the one. But if there's 2 or 3 low-paid people who own nothing and a higher-paid guy, it is, as I say, absolutely incredible how often the government DNA test picks that as the guy. Now, I just want to, in the overall looking at legal rights and basic human rights and things like that. If 2 people engage in a drunken one-night stand, the woman's having multiple partners, different guy every day and that sort of thing, then and if she wants to do that, that's her business. But if she wants to do that, and there's an accidental pregnancy and that sort of thing, then what should be the legal situation? He never agreed to having a family. He never agreed. He checked, are you on contraception? This sort of thing. She assured him she was, and it's no good months later saying, I think I might have forgot that. That doesn't really work. Now she can also terminate the pregnancy if she wants and demand that he pays, some or even all of it. But if she says nothing, and then applies for a government benefit to also cover the kid, then decides to keep the child to full term wants a government benefit, then the government won't give her the benefit unless she says who the guy was. So that's it. Now, it's amazing how many details that she gets. So she got some guy's name. His name's Billy Bob, and he comes from Billy Town or something, and that. So there was only like 2 Billy Bobs in Billy Town, so it wasn't hard for them to chase after him. And nor can he refuse, by the way, to do the DNA test. So if he refuses, then that's considered to being tantamount to liability. So and the pursuit is ruthless and conducted by radical feminists who hate men and hate families and all this sort of shit. So it's not an easy gig. Once a man gets caught up in that, it's a nightmare. Now, I've had people reporting to me on like product development teams, software programmers and design engineers, that sort of thing, and they're all on pretty decent bucks. And I've lost count of the amount of guys that come to me. Look, this is the child support and alimony I have to pay. this is what I'm left with. It's not worth my while working. Yeah, why would I work long hours, high stress, to be having the same standard of living as someone who works at Walmart on filling the shelf or something like that. So they have a look. They have a look at the dollars, and it's not worth my while working. And so they'll go off and become window cleaners or whatever. One guy went off and became a leather worker, making leather belts and selling them for cash at market stalls, that sort of thing. And I've got a zero stress life, and I'm making as much money, give or take, as I would if I was doing that and paying the alimony. So there's no attempt by the state to say, okay, what's going to work here? This guy never agreed to being a father or a parent. He never agreed to the child being born. There was no agreement at all. How is it right to now steal money from him? Steal money. Let's call it what it is, steal money from him for 25, 26 years. I mean, what right has anyone got to do that? So in terms of legal rights, unless he agreed to being a parent and starting a family with that particular partner, unless he agreed to that, then there's no way that, in my view, anyone should be considered as liable for that. If the woman unilaterally and arbitrarily decided to run the pregnancy to full term, then she's got no right at all, nor has the state, to then inflict that sort of financial pain on someone else. But again, coming back to the issue here of how often the government DNA test picks the wealthiest guy. I mean, on a balance of probability to sheer statistics, it wouldn't happen that way. So we've got to ask the question: are they looking? And I believe they are. In my opinion, I believe they're looking at who's got the biggest bucks, and then the DNA test is falsified or manufactured, or call it what you will, to make sure that the guy who can pay the most is on the hook for it. And any attempt he makes to then subsequently verify what he believes to be a very unlikely outcome is frustrated and stalled and obfuscated for as many years as they can, until the guy's financially exhausted and just accepts his fate. And not every guy does. As I say, a lot of guys just go, no, screw you. I'll go and work in the black economy for cash or something like that. So they don't always get their way. But in my view, the legal side of it is that unless the guy, it's a drunken one night stand, for fuck's sake. Unless the guy agreed to it, then he's not on the hook for it. Now, you see, on the reverse side, for low income woman who's got some shit job on shit money, it's okay for her because she looks at the government benefits that are associated with it. She's got no purpose in life or anything like that. So she's now got a kid to look after, some reason to live and that sort of stuff. She gets a lot of government benefits. So for her, it's a good deal. But for him, it's a lousy deal. He's fucked. Financially, he is fucked. But for her, it's a good deal. So she wants this. And there's no incentive for her to say, well, gee, I better get an abortion here. I better terminate this pregnancy. It's not fair to inflict this on the guy. I mean, no. She's definitely not thinking that. This is a honeypot. It's a honeypot on steroids, and she wants it. And as long as that incentive exists, and for lower income women it does, as long as that incentive exists, then these sort of things will happen. Now, if this happened under any other circumstances, you'd call it conspiracy to defraud, the strict legal definition, or intention to defraud. But in this case, there's it's viewed as being a very virtuous act, sticking it up some guy for money for years to come. And I've had a look in the divorce courts when they've got a guy being dragged in there who's got no money and owns nothing. He's got zero employment prospects, that sort of thing. there's the you know, the legal aid lawyer, the judge, you know, all these people, they don't give a fuck. They're just going through the motions of filing bits of paper. No, this guy's not worth anything and never going to get anything out of him. So there's nothing really to discuss. But then in comes the next guy who's got a good job and he owns a house and he's never been unemployed in his life. It's like a bolt of electricity gets sent through the courtroom. They're out and they're motivated to salivating. They're out to get this damn white fucking fascist Nazi Hitler. And they're really going for it. You can tell on the eagerness. I mean, the energy they put into it. It's just insane when you watch it. Just how motivated they are to really fuck this guy over. Because he's got something to take. He's straight, he's white, he's male. I mean, get him. So that's the, you know, just my comments on that. I don't think these, in my opinion, I don't think these tests are all genuine. I think if there's an opportunity to screw a guy with some money and that sort of thing, that they're that the tests are deliberately tampered with, and that the report's falsified to produce the ideological outcome that they want. You've been with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.